talk about, Ambassador Young, sort of the vision of the Voting Rights Act and the critical components that you all put in there so that we could have this kind of transformation of our politics?
The last meeting we had before he went to Memphis was with Harry Belafonte, John Conyers, and Dick Hatch and myself. And we were talking about how to take the energy of the civil rights movement, and Dr. King was saying you shouldn't have to mount a march of 1,000 people every time you want a good decision made. He said we ought to be able to elect people of goodwill and good intelligence to fight those battles for us in the Congress and in the legislatures. And he said we got to find a way to take the energy of this movement out of the streets and into the legislatures. And when he didn't come back from Memphis, I happened to be with Harry Belafonte, and we were talking about how we could recruit candidates to run for congressional seats. And it was, nobody was interested. And Harry just picked up the phone and called Sidney Poitier, and then called his wife and said, I need to get you all and Lena Horne together. We got to raise some money. And they said, what for? He said, Andy's running for Congress. I said, No, they were killing people too fast then. Why me? They said, well, you next in line. It probably is your turn now. So you running for Congress. And when it was announced that I was running for Congress, the neighborhood I live in, Joe Lowry lived in, Maynard Jackson lived in, C.T. Vivian, Bernard Lafayette, almost everybody in the civil rights movement lived out in Southwest Atlanta. They drew the lines so that they put us in a district with Noonan, Georgia, 25 miles down in the country. You never would have heard of any of us politically if that had remained. It was the ACLU. And let me say, that's the American Civil Liberties Union, in case you've forgotten. They took the case. And next thing you know, they redrew the lines and put us all back in the 5th Congressional District. And we have had a black congressman here almost ever since 1970. And when we had a white congressman for a couple of years, he voted as black as every other black congressman did, because this was the kind of district it was. So the reapportionment, and it was the Title VI in the original Voting Rights Act, was when the state legislatures did what they're doing now. The Justice Department had the power to come in and examine that and see if it was fair. What they've done in Georgia now, they put 2 of our best congresswomen, the 6th and 7th district. They sort of pushed those districts together so that they both are in the same district now, and they brought in a lot of people from out in the country and put it in the 6th district. And if we can't find a way to re-examine this reapportionment, we could lose 2 or 3 congressmen. All of those, every county around bordering Fulton and DeKalb was predominantly white. And the truth of it is, until a few years ago, I was afraid to drive in those counties at night alone. It was kind of that bad. Now, every one of those counties surrounding Atlanta and Fulton and DeKalb County has got a black majority in the county commission, and all of them have black sheriffs, including a black woman in DeKalb.
In Representative Mitchell's county.
Yeah, and so I'm saying that while we fight against the tricks and the schemes, the truth of it is we are an irrepressible force that are moving this country forward whether it likes it or not. So there's no such thing as losing a fight. You might get bounced around for a round or two, but we're going to win this fight, and there's no question about that. And we're going to keep on fighting, and nobody's going to get discouraged.